This is Covadonga Rodrigo, currently Vice Dean for Research, Innovation and Transfer at UNED, Spain. I'm here to explain how to design and develop learning ecologies to achieve a real inclusion in digital learning for all. Just take some of the figures that we can find. The number of students with disabilities in higher education is growing nationally. The European Commission estimates that including all who have a long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment, at least 1 in 6 people in the EU may have a disability, and that means over 87 million people. Moreover, the World Health Organization reports that nearly 15% of the world population may experience some kind of disability, and that percentage represents a huge amount of individuals, nearly 1 billion. And this number may continue to increase as the population ages, and those who are not actually disabled may suffer any kind of illness. So clearly, there is a need of developing some means and systems to deliver the learning at home. For sure, the people with disabilities, they prefer to learn online. Some of them, they may suffer a lot of barriers to get even out of their homes. So when it comes to the new education models, this hybrid education bi-model with some activities in presence and others online, this kind of modalities fits students with disabilities very well. If you can see our figures, mostly of our students enrolled in my institution come from the motor impairment disabilities, and nearly quarter of it have some intellectual disabilities also. The figures have increased a lot in the last 10 years. More than 5% of the students in our university has a disability. And what is more important and interesting is that our modality as a distance and hybrid university fits the student population in Spain with disabilities very well. And over 40% of university students in our country are enrolled with us. Surely these people also like to enjoy and to join the internet's online services. And for instance, in another example, in the Open University in UK, 16% of users with open educational resources, they declare a disability. And how to achieve this goal of bringing the learning at home? For that, we have a very complex cloud of academic services. We might have, for sure, the e-learning platform. We might have different multimedia repositories with all kinds of fancy resources. We might have remote labs also integrated. We have assessment and examining system to do even exams online if it's necessary. We have everything integrated. And we need also to have a very powerful electronic administration with user profiling and data security systems. The most important thing, and you know, think in the case of the user, is that each of the students that are enrolled in this kind of learning facilities online, they bring their own device. So there is a big issue also trying to achieve, a nice environment that suits every student needs. Here you have an example of our system integration, starting from the facilities, the physical rooms where we do the tutoring in presence, so we record all the sessions, and we even have IoT-based sensorization, and also for getting some data about attendance. So we packed everything together with some web conferencing system, and we even have mobile applications. So we have to deliver all that in different portals, and spread all this information also visually to the students through different repositories and platforms. So everything is very, very complex to manage. To make things accessible, we have the aid of the EU. Now we have the Accessible EU portal. There is a full center with information about laws and all directives that we have to achieve. And here I put the eye on the European Accessibility Act. That is quite of a recent act to ensure the accessibility of services and products within the member states, trying to harmonize all the national laws and the minimum requirements. So it tries to eliminate and prevent barriers. So every product and service, moreover, the ones that are delivered by public institutions, we have to assure the accessibility, a certain accessibility level for those. So it's not only the products, but also the services. Here you have some examples about what I mean. In products, I'm thinking about computers, operating systems, all the smartphones or all the portable devices that the students use, also the audiovisual equipment, some kind of e-readers or other tablets, and also the informative totems that we can find in some buildings. So talking about the services, we may include also the payment services, but also all the websites, the mobile applications, all the electronic administration, and all the sources of information. Also, the access to audiovisual media services is on the eye, and the calls to digital facilitating services that a lot of universities will provide for the students. So here I highlight two directives. The first is on the accessibility of the websites and mobile applications of the public sector bodies, that is focused on public online platforms, primarily the websites, the mobile applications of the public sector bodies, as I just mentioned, but also the provisions on regulation of any kind of electronic contracts or advertising, payments, and other service providers. It also includes provision for the protection of the personal data and the right to privacy in electronic communications. So it's complementary to the EAA mentioned before. And the second directive is the one related to the provision of audiovisual media services to govern all the media services, including the traditional broadcasting, and also all these emerging new online platforms, and also via social networks. So it can apply to a variety of stakeholders, and also broadcasters, all the platforms, and all the companies that deliver these media services. So it forces the full accessibility of the audiovisual or the media services, and that might include the obligation of providing subtitling, audio descriptions, or signing languages. We also have some international agreed common standards. Those are fostered by the W3C consortium, and the two that I want you to know about are the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines and the ARIA. the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, those are for assuring the full accessibility in web pages and web platforms. So as long as the e-learning platforms are web-based, they must fulfill these guidelines. And also we are referring to the resources, most of them the SCORM-based or any other kind of online resources, educational resources. They are also usually web-based or included in web repositories, so they must fulfill these guidelines too. And the ARIA, they are very interesting for being compatible with the assistive technologies that the users with disabilities might use, for instance, with a screen reader. So it refers to a specific tagging that we have to put in our web pages so that the system tells the assistive technology in which part of the web page the user is clicking in that moment. So it put the eyes on the focus and also on the semantic tagging of the different parts of the web pages. As an example, this is a project we have participated in, and it started in 2008 with a software tool development based in that time in Flash. And we were just recording user-generated videos. So we started to work for 4 years in the room facilities, exploring all the audiovisual tools and developing the software, and also developing the repository. So we put an eye on the cataloging and the tagging of all these video recordings and the associated educational resources. Close to 2014, we started to work with a private company, and we developed jointly some volunteering network that helped us to increase our knowledge about the importance of transcriptions. Those are now when you try to make a voice to text transcription, you can get information and make summaries, for example, that are very useful for the students. So that's an intermediate product of the process of subtitling. So we also keep on going with the semantic enrichment. We added some social metadata, and we worked on the licensing, the open access licensing for all the OERs that were produced at the moment in the university. In 2016, we launched the first UNED Play mobile app. And at the moment, the recommendations were very simple and just associated with student data. But the recommendation was improved in year 2018. We launched a new version, and we even got a new code based in HTML5 to make a very high-level responsive design. And also, we kept on improving the accessibility. In year 2021, we included a full recommender system and also the semi-automatic process for subtitling the resources. Also, we incorporate some ARIA tagging to improve the accessibility in the HTML5 code. And finally, in year 2023, we integrated some large language models with a voice recognition. At this moment, all the tutorings that are recording are automatically integrated are automatic subtitled. From the research point of view, we have been working on the ecology of resources model. Originally designed by Looking, we can find 4 different components for this model. One is the environment, that it refers to the learning context, for example, the work desk and even the computer on which the student normally studies. Then we have the tools and the people that can facilitate his or her learning. For example, all these assistive technologies like headphones or transcriptions of videos. We may have the knowledge and skills. Those are the capacities and content that the student is interested in acquiring. And the barriers or filters that they prevent the access to any of the aforementioned elements. So focusing on this model, we developed this particular ecology of accessible learning. And we assure that for each particular environment, all the resources must be organized and activated in appropriate manner for each student who might need to access them. So is the system that with the appropriate software and the appropriate accessible semantic tagging can deliver in real time the specific format of the resource that fits the student specific needs. As I mentioned before, each student in their desk or their placement for learning, they may have a lot of assistive technologies. Some of them are 3D printing based. We may even have a personal assistant with voice recognition or personalized keyboards or mouses, and they might even have a specific software. I mentioned a while ago the screen readers, but it's true that all the operating systems nowadays, they have a specific place for accessible tools. Another work that is being done in my institution is an assessment instrument. The first version of the instrument comprises 52 items divided into 6 main sections, and they focus to different targets. At first, all the administrative online services, such as student registration, access to digital documents, the virtual secretary's office, the email, and different forms. And secondly, the basic academic services. Those can be web conferencing and video conferencing tools, the web repositories that are hosting the materials, the virtual library, the e-learning platform, virtual bookstore, the exam calendars, and other digital academic documents. So mapping with these WCAG guidelines that we mentioned before from the W3C consortium, we have 4 different criteria to match. So first is the perceivability. So this questionnaire, this instrument, asks the student if they find it easier to access all the ICT provided information when presented with different features. So it tries to match every student's needs, if it is fulfilled or not by the system. Also, the instrument asks the user if the information is presented in an easily and understandable way, if the links are easy to find, and if the contents are or not on the following pages readable with the technologies that they use. For instance, these screen readers that we mentioned. The second criteria, operability, is to assess the usability. So it considers how to use the options or the virtual assistants that might be integrated in the access devices, those that the student may use. Also, if it is searching for content on these pages, is straightforward, if the links are useful, and if it is easy to interact with the web using the different technologies. Regarding the understandability criteria, the instrument tries to ask the user if they comprehend all the ICT provided information when it includes all these alternative formats. Also, if the way the information is presented are easy to understand. And finally, for the robustness criteria, the question is regarding if the online services are or not compatible with their current assistive technologies and support products. Just to finish the presentation, I would like to remind you that we have also worked with the census. So we believe that for the students with disabilities, we can also achieve some kinds of very fancy activities that might enhance all the senses. For that, we are using tactile and 3D printed resources, such as stuffed silhouettes, braille reproductions, or nestable puzzles. And we have also developed some nice virtual and augmented reality. And that's very suitable for students with disabilities, because each of them can get from every resource the best they can. So if you want to know more about us and our work, we have a research group called DiNeLLL. So here you have a lot of information about our recent publishing. Thank you.